Usman, Assalamualaikum.
Good.
Yes.
نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا مولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد. So we were going through the verses in Surah Al-Kahf, which was in regards to Musa alayhi salam going to meet a person at the meeting point of the two seas. So as Musa alayhi salam found this location which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had directed him towards, he found this person and he offered his salam. And the person inquired, where is this salam coming from? And Musa alayhi salam said, this is Musa. And he wanted to affirm whether it's Musa from Bani Israel, and he said, yes, it is. So Musa alayhi salam, having found the person whom Allah Ta'ala said has been given a special type of knowledge, asked him if he can accompany him to learn from him. And the person said, إِنَّكَ لَن تَسْتَطِيعَ مَعْيَ صَبْرًا, that you will not be able to bear with patience with me. And how can you bear with patience in regards to things which your knowledge doesn't encompass? Knowledge of the Sharia is one thing. Knowledge of the Sharia was what was given to Musa alayhi salam. But things which were related to what is termed as al-umur at-takwini, the matters pertaining to the running of the universe, which isn't Sharia related, that type of knowledge was given to Khidr alayhi salam. But Musa alayhi salam assured him, saying, Insha'Allah you will find me to be patient and I won't disobey your command. So he allowed him to accompany him and said, فَإِنِ اتَّبَعْتَنِي فَلَا تَسْأَلْنِي عَنْ شَيْءٍ حَتَّى أُحْدِثَ لَكَ مِنْهُ ذِكْرًا. That if you're going to follow me and accompany me, then don't ask me about anything until I myself will tell you. فَانْطَلَقَا, and they both started to walk. حَتَّى إِذَا رَكِبَا فِي السَّفِينَةِ, until they boarded a ship. Now this ship belonged to some poor brothers, and that was their sole means of earning their livelihood. When they boarded the ship, these people didn't even take any payment from Khidr alayhi salam and Musa alayhi salam. But they allowed them to board for free. Now Musa alayhi salam sees that this person, Khidr alayhi salam, in particular no reason, he pulls out a plank of wood from the ship. And of course, if the ship has such a defect whereby it has a hole, the water can seep in and the ship can capsize, the ship can sink. So Musa alayhi salam couldn't contain himself and said, أَخَرَقْتَهَا لِتُغْرِقَ أَهْلَهَا لَقَدْ جِئْتَ شَيْئًا إِمْرًا. That have you made the ship defective? Have you ripped out that plank of wood in order to drown its people? You've done a tremendous thing. You've done a terrible thing. So that's when Khidr alayhi salam reminded him, أَلَمْ أَقُلْ إِنَّكَ لَن تَسْتَطِيعَ مَعِيَ صَبْرًا. Didn't I tell you, you won't be able to bear with patience? So Musa alayhi salam apologized, saying, لَا تُؤَخِذْنِ بِمَا نَسِيتْ, that don't take me to task because of what I have forgotten, and don't make my matter even harder. فَانْطَلَقَا. So they said, fine. And they walked on. حَتَّى إِذَا لَقِيَا غُلَامًا فَقَتَلَهُ. Until they came across a young child. So this person, he went to the child, took hold of his head and killed him. فقتله. So again Musa alayhi salam, seeing this, he couldn't contain himself and said, أَقَتَلْتَ نَفْسًا زَكِيَّةً بِغَيْرِ نَفْسٍ. Have you killed an innocent soul which hasn't killed anyone else? This is very, very bad. This is tremendous thing that you have done. Then again Khidr alayhi salam reminded him, أَلَمْ أَقُلْ لَكَ إِنَّكَ لَن تَسْتَطِيعَ مَعَ الصَّبْرَ, with all the more emphasis, saying, did I not tell you that you will not be able to bear with patience? So now Musa alayhi salam confessed that, yes, if I ask you anything else after this, then don't allow me to accompany you. قَدْ بَلَغْتَ مِنْ لَدُنِّي عُذْرًا. The excuses have run out now. فَانْطَلَقَا, and they begin to walk again until they come across a town. They sought some hospitality from the people of the town. They denied them any hospitality. So here Musa alayhi salam finds a wall which was inclining to fall, and he erects it and fixes the wall. So Musa alayhi salam said, how strange. These people didn't do us any favor, didn't give us any food, and here you're doing them a favor by erecting this wall again. Why couldn't you just take a payment for it? So he had spoken. And Khidr alayhi salam said, that's it. Your 3 chances over. هَذَا فِرَاقُ بَيْنِي وَبَيْنِكَ. This is our separation now. But before you part, سَأُنَبِّئُكَ بِتَأْوِيلِ مَا لَمْ تَسْتَطِعْ عَلَيْهِ صَبْرًا. Now I will tell you the interpretations of those things which you had no patience over. As for the ship, it belonged to some poor men who used to work on the sea. i.e., they used to transport people, and that was their means of livelihood. So I wanted to make it defective. Why? وَكَانَ وَرَاءَهُمْ مَلِكٌ يَأْخُذُ كُلَّ سَفِينَةٍ غَصْبًا. Just behind them, there is a king who is taking into his own possession every good ship that he sees. So I wanted to make it defective that when the king sees it, he won't take it off from them. Had I not made it defective, they would have no ship at all. So that was the wisdom. Now, a point to learn from here is, a lot of time we question, why do these things happen? Why do evil things happen, which we perceive to be evil? Earthquakes happen, there's floods, people dying en masse, and we question, it's so bad. Yes, it looks bad to us, but we don't know the reality behind it. I'll give you a small example. If you see someone with a very, very high temperature and very high fever, of course they're suffering. You see them physically very weak, and they themselves perceive as though they are going to die any minute. That's how they feel. And when you see them, you feel so sorry for them. That's also a hardship. That's also some pain. But then if you were to understand that this person only has a very high temperature and fever because of some foreign bacteria that has entered his body, and in order for that bacteria inside his body to be killed, the body needs to rise in temperature to kill that bacteria. Now it makes sense. Now the fever is not a bad thing at all. The fever is a blessing. Because if the body temperature didn't rise, that bacteria will destroy you. So Allah causes the body temperature to rise to a degree that it will kill the virus and the bacteria inside your body. Now that is Allah's wisdom. We cannot see it, but that is what happens. Likewise, around the world, things may happen which to us seem so bad, but behind it Allah Ta'ala has kept His wisdom, which will be in the benefit of mankind. From here too, we also learn, and as a part of a reflection, that we live in a world where there's a lot of tyrants. There's a lot of people who want to take this valuable asset of our deen away from us. They want to take away our iman from us. They want to derail us from this course that we are on, this path that we are on. And sometimes we have to, in order to preserve our iman, in order to preserve our course and our path that we are on, we have to become the defective ship. We have to work in such a manner whereby people think, you know what, these lot are harmless. They're nothing, right? And you secretly go about practicing your religion, practicing your deen, learning your deen. The moment you start singing your glory, this person is taking shahada, this many people become Muslims, then of course the enemies will say, hold on, this is not a good thing. We have to do something in order to bring these people down. That is why our scholars, teachers, elders teach us that when you want to practice deen and propagate the deen, do so in a manner whereby you're not advertising everything. That's why the most effective da'wah is where you go to people in person to person, and you give da'wah. And that was the method of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So from this and the next one, where he explains why he killed the boy. And he says that his parents were both believers, and we feared that this boy will grow up to force the parents upon kufr. That if this boy was to live, he would grow up to be rebellious. He'll grow up to even take his parents away from the deen. So it was better for him to have died at a young age. And Allah Ta'ala says, so we intended to, their Lord intended to replace them with someone better. And again, sometimes we have certain young children passing away in our own families. That's where we need to understand Allah's wisdom is far more greater. Allah Ta'ala may take away a child from you, but Allah Ta'ala has intended to give you something better. If not in this world, then Allah Ta'ala has intended to give us something better when we need it most, and that will be on the Day of Judgment. Inshallah, now since it is the day of Friday, and between Asr and Maghrib, it's a very special time. Sending salawat upon Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that send more salawat, plentiful of salawat upon me on a Friday. So if we haven't done so, let's engage in sending salawat to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Imagine that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam will respond to your salam by saying your salam is actually conveyed to Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam by saying so and so, the son of so and so has given you salam. So your name is also mentioned, and your father's name is also mentioned to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam replies to the salam as well. And it's the time where the du'as are also mustajab and accepted. So for the remaining few minutes, inshallah, let's all